Oh my God. I can't actually believe this, by the way. Brooklyn Beckham is now being advised by Prince Harry. You know I'm pretty supportive of Brooklyn in this ludicrous blow-up with David and Victoria Beckham. But if there is one human being you must not be listening to at the moment, Brooklyn, it is the Duke of Delusion. This is insanity. This is madness. We need to save you from that advice. And of course, Harry is providing this advice as he arrived in court for a fourth day today, having released a very unprofessional statement after giving evidence against the Daily Mail yesterday. So we are going to get into all of these developments with two of our favourites, Brittany, editor of the Royal News Network from the US, and from here in the UK, Lauren, the insider. But first, let me take you through the shocking reporting from Rob Shooter of Shooter Scoop, who has revealed, I still just can't get over this, the advice from Prince Harry, which is how to leave your family and tell his story. Brooklyn, seriously, it didn't go well for Prince Harry. He looks like he's aged about 20 years over the past 12 months. But this is the exclusive information from Shooter Scoop. Prince Harry has quietly stepped into an unexpected mentoring role, advising Brooklyn Beckham on how to navigate a very public break from his family. And yes, that guidance includes book advice. An insider telling Shooter Scoop, Harry sees a lot of himself in Brooklyn. He doesn't want Brooklyn to make the same emotional and strategic mistakes he made when he first broke away. Okay, at least we've got some acknowledgement of reality from Harry for once. According to sources, Harry has offered both personal and professional counsel, urging Brooklyn to slow down, protect his mental health, and think carefully about timing and tone. Harry told him, "Don't burn everything at once," the source adds. "You only get one chance to tell your story the right way." Rob Shooter goes on with his exclusive report. Here's where things get really interesting. Insiders say Harry has connected Brooklyn with his own book publisher, offering guidance on how a potential tell-all could be framed, not as revenge, but as reclaiming his voice. Harry stressed that honesty works best when it's controlled, thoughtful, and human. Privately, Harry has also warned Brooklyn about the aftermath. He told him the freedom is real, but so is the fallout, the insider reveals. You lose people, you get misunderstood, and once it's out there, you can't take it back. Still, Harry believes Brooklyn deserves to tell his truth, just smarter than Harry did the first time around. This is mentorship, born from scars, the source says. Harry's trying to help him survive the part no one prepares you for. Now, of course, there are two sides to this story, and there are high-profile people like Simon Jordan now speaking out in defense of David and Victoria. Watch this.
He's not a child. He's a grown man, an ungrateful little toad of a son as well. The utterings of a rather ungrateful young son that would be nowhere in this world if it wasn't for his father's name. Your name would be worth about 1p if it wasn't Beckham. I think it's ironic that he talks about the media-curated life whilst issuing a media-based statement. David talks about the idea that your children make mistakes. He's not a child. He's a grown man. And some people would say that actually the smart move for the Beckhams would be to lean into this, to suggest that ultimately we're like everybody else, suggest that we, like everyone else, have problems in our family. We have an ungrateful little toad of a son as well. And lots of you out there will have the same thing.
Okay, so look, I know this is the story that has divided the nation, but let me bring in Brittany and Lauren now. Lauren, seriously, I think I'll have to withdraw all support from Brooklyn Beckham if he seriously continues to listen to Prince Harry. Now, we know this had previously been leaked, that there was this alliance gathering and that Nicola Peltz and Meghan Markle had also been together at a dinner, but it's like, Brooklyn, no, you do not do this the way Prince Harry has done this. Is he mad?
Well, I'm worried Prince Harry might have got in there already, Dan, because just before I came on to do this interview, there are pap shots of Brooklyn and Nicola on a beach in Malibu. And anyone that's been to Malibu knows that if you are going to be papped, you need to tell them exactly where you're going to be. Obviously, it was Nicola with her arms around Brooklyn. So I'm feeling really torn now because I actually was supportive of Brooklyn. You know, having read his statement, there are parts of, me that do feel bad for him. He didn't choose to be born into a family that are front page news all of the time. But if you want privacy, you don't set up pap shots. So he is, well, I believe he's probably been taking advice from Prince Harry because this is utterly stupid. And we see Prince Harry, don't we, time and time again, says he wants privacy. And then the minute he gets out of court, his spokespeople are there giving comments to the press. It's like, which bloody one do you want? Private life or public life? It's not that hard to work it out.
Yeah, and that is the great hypocrisy here, isn't it? I guess I should point out too, by the way, for those who don't know, Lauren the Insider, before she became an independent media sensation, was one of the United Kingdom's top PR professionals working with celebrities to crisis manage situations like this. So she's got a lot of experience. She also knows the Beckhams personally. But Brittany,
well, I wouldn't say they're friends. Definitely not after I've said what I've said about David, but I have met them many times socially. And I do have to say, they've always been very pleasant, but they know how this game works. I mean, Victoria Beckham has the media working for her. In essence, they're not going to write anything that she doesn't like. She's incredibly powerful behind the scenes.
Brittany, we haven't spoken about this yet. What's your feeling? I mean, firstly, I guess huge mistake to take any advice from Harry and Meghan seriously about how to manage family relations.
Prince Harry returns to court for another critical day as the fallout from his dramatic testimony continues to build. Questions around credibility, judgment, and consequence now dominate the conversation. Joining me with the very latest developments are Lauren the Insider and Brittany, editor of the Royal News Network, as we break down what happened inside the courtroom and why this case may prove pivotal for the Duke of Sussex. And as the legal drama unfolds, fresh reports suggest Prince Harry has been offering advice to Brooklyn Beckham amid his escalating feud with parents David and Victoria Beckham. A surprising revelation that raises eyebrows, given the Duke's own public and PR challenges. We'll examine what this alleged involvement could mean, and whether it's advice anyone should be taking seriously. Stay with us for exclusive analysis, expert insight, and royal coverage you won't find elsewhere. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a moment of this unfolding story.
And in this particular instance, I do have to say I'm always on the side of not airing your dirty laundry. Once you do that, you're basically inviting people even more into your life because Brooklyn says, well, my mom danced inappropriately with me at my wedding. Now everybody wants to see what that looks like. Is there a video somewhere so we can all judge? So instead of when he's demanding privacy, he's actually asking for more invasion into his life in order to justify his victim narrative. And to me, in much of that statement, yes, of course, he comes from a famous family. That is complicated and difficult in more ways than most of us could probably imagine. But at the same time, a lot of it, like the slights he was talking about, just seemed very minor. And at the end of the day, not something to really get super upset about and something that should be able to blow over. He wasn't also clear on some things, like there were some inconsistencies in the statement. So while I do think it's true that Brand Beckham is very, very important, at the same time, I think Brooklyn could have handled this so much better. And he just has to look at Harry to see how much of a disaster it can be to go public with your grievances.
Totally. And I mean, of course, I don't deny the parallels. I really don't. I think, Lauren, where I see a huge difference here is that the Beckhams are a total different kettle of fish to the British royal family that actually always looked after Harry, protected Harry, attempted to protect Meghan. That's the key difference here. Prince William and Catherine were not using the dirty tricks of David and Victoria Beckham. We're not using family members for publicity or anything like that. So of course I see the parallels. Like, yes, there are similarities between Nicola Peltz and Meghan Markle when it comes to control over their husbands. But fundamentally, and I know a lot of people don't like this, and I know David Beckham did a good thing lining up to see the late Queen Elizabeth II's
I don't like
coffin.
him.
But yeah, that's the thing. They haven't acted well for many years. You know, they have done dirty deals with the press to cover up parts of their relationship, and they have used their family. And it's an awful thing to use your family. I always called them out on
They
it.
have. And also, people forget it's through the PR machine. People have potentially forgotten about him calling the Honours Committee a bunch of you-know-whats. The fact that he had an affair with Rebecca Lewis. When someone doesn't take legal action, that means more or less they are guilty. Their image is so highly curated. And look, on one hand, I admire that. I admire the fact that they've taken ownership of that. But for Brooklyn Beckham, I imagine this would have been very, very stressful. And it's just not the way you want to grow up. Obviously, Prince Harry had a lot more of an infrastructure around him at the palace. But I think what's happened is both Brooklyn and Harry have left the world they were in and met women who will not fall in line with hierarchy. Now, when it comes to Nicola Peltz, I don't know whether that's good or bad. I've not met her. But she does seem very divish. I do see similarities between her
Well, of
and
course,
Meghan.
multiple wedding planners, for example, not a good sign, is it? Legal battle with the wedding planners. But at the end of the day, I do feel like I feel like Brooklyn was doing everything right in certain ways. But if he is now going to go down the Harry and Meghan playbook of moaning about privacy while continuing to sell his own life, which they clearly intend to do on social media, I think a lot of people who maybe had sympathy or empathy after the first statement will start to turn.